America, researchers want a close-up of the porcine personage. This is part of a system called the IntelliPig, and it aims to read the animal's emotions with artificial intelligence. The project's being conducted at the University of the West of England, Bristol. It utilizes cameras to capture pigs' faces when they come up to eat or drink. Researchers say this gives them a really good view. But for what? To better understand animal welfare. The AI system is fed a bunch of images of pigs that are stressed and ones that aren't. By having the computer compare these pictures to the live expressions captured on camera, engineers hope to be able to pinpoint when pigs are troubled and to what extent. The hope is that this will be used to ensure more pigs are happy more of the time, to better understand their emotions, and to apply the technology to other animals for the benefit of farmers. Eyes on the skies. A trio of celestial stories takes center stage next on The World from A to Z. I'm Carl Azus, and it's officially spring, at least in the northern hemisphere. The sun passed directly over the equator this morning on its trek north toward the Tropic of Cancer. That's how the Earth's tilt and position make the star appear anyway. It's the vernal equinox for northern latitudes, the autumnal equinox for southern ones, and it makes the lengths of daytime and nighttime almost equal, give or take a few minutes, no matter where you live. Something else you can see looking up: Venus. Its planetary path is crossing directly between the sun and the Earth on Sunday. Before then, though, astronomers say Venus should be visible in the morning before sunrise and the evening after sunset on Thursday and Friday. This is known as dual visibility, and it won't happen again until 2033. Thirdly, now that Butch Wilmore and Sonny Williams are back safe and sound after a planned 8-day mission that turned into 9 months on the International Space Station, they're going to need some time for their bodies to recover. Here's why.
It's been 286 days since astronauts Sonny Williams and Butch Wilmore have felt the pull of Earth's gravity.
Gravity is really, really tough.
Tough, learning to live with it, but also without it.
Our bodies were really built to work in gravity.
At NASA's Countermeasures Lab, exercise routines and equipment are designed to help prevent astronauts from losing bone and muscle mass while they're in space.
Force is what helps our muscles get stronger. Force is what helps our bones to stay strong. Force is what helps our heart to stay strong by having to pump the blood against gravity. So when you take that force away, you all of a sudden lose a really important stimulus that's important for health.
That's why astronauts spend hours each day exercising while on the space station. But again, we are talking about an unnatural environment for humans. When you're in space, body fluids shift from the legs to the head and upper body, as much as 2 liters of fluid. NASA says a natural reaction to this is a decrease in the total amount of blood in your blood vessels. That can result in low blood pressure or hypotension. We've even started to see how long-duration flights directly impacts the brain. Look here. You can see that the brain shifts up ever so slightly in the skull, and the fluids surrounding and protecting it expand. Astronaut Scott Kelly knows this better than most people. He spent 340 days aboard the International Space Station for NASA's twin study. That's where they compared his physical state in space to his twin brother, Mark, back on Earth. They found that space impacted a host of things, like his eyes, his balance, his gut microbes, his cognitive abilities, and even his gene expression. But then,
Touchdown.
the body has to adapt again when it is thrust back to Earth.
When you get back, gravity starts pulling everything to your lower extremities. The fluid that is shifting, I get a little puffy face. It's always that way when I'm in space. And all that fluid is going to be pulled to my lower extremities, and it's really going to be different. Even to lift a pencil, you don't even feel a pencil when you lift it. When we get back, even to lift a pencil, we will feel the weight.
NASA's twin study of Mark and Scott Kelly concluded that human health can be mostly sustained over the course of a year in space. However, researchers say weakened bones, some genetic changes, and a higher risk of developing cancer remain.
Word it out. Who invented the first battery in the year 1800? Andre Marie Ampere, Nikola Tesla, Gaston Planck, Alessandro Volta. The inventor inventor of the first electric battery and the namesake of the voltaic power was Alessandro Volta.
On this date in world history. On March 20th, 2016, Barack Obama became the first U.S. president in 88 years to visit Cuba. Tensions between the two countries had boiled for decades after Cuba's communist revolution in the late 1950s, but President Obama hoped his trip would improve relations. Critics said Cuba didn't deserve the attention because of its poor human rights record. This was the date in 1916 when German physicist Albert Einstein published his general theory of relativity. The academic paper was highly influential on views of gravity, space, and time. On March 20th, 1852, American author and abolitionist Harriet Beecher Stowe published the novel Uncle Tom's Cabin. Though the book's been criticized for its racial stereotypes, it was highly influential in stirring opposition to slavery in the antebellum United States. And March 20th, 1800 was when Italian physicist Alessandro Volta wrote about an invention that would change the world. He called it an electric pile, but it became known as the battery. Successive experiments and improvements revolutionized the way people interacted with energy.
This is Persepolis, one of Iran's most famous archaeological sites, where conservationists are fighting an unlikely adversary, lichen.
The fungi gradually covered the surface of the stone, which also has relief carvings. In about 50, 100, or 200 years, they will turn the stone into soil, destroying the relief and the stone itself.
Put simply, the tiny fungi is eating away at the stone structures at Persepolis. Some species of lichen produce carbonic acid, which can slowly decompose rock, break it down into its component minerals. That makes the nutrients available for other plant life. It takes a long time, but conservationists say some carvings at Persepolis have already been worn away. Red lichen has long plagued the place. Some say it's been there for 1,700 years, but concern grew after a government official exposed a lack of funding available to preserve Iranian historical sites.
It is very important here, even more important than our lives. Our children who grow up need to understand where they came from and where they live.
Persepolis was founded by Darius I in 518 BC and is an important part of Iranian history. The site has endured through looting, earthquakes, fires. It's a place Iranians take pride in.
Take a look at these reliefs of Persepolis. We were a nation that developed a civilization, taught agriculture to others, domesticated animals, and were the first to create a written language.
To stop the red lichen from harming the statues and motifs at Persepolis, workers are spraying an antibiotic that will help remove the organism without damaging the stone underneath.
Genoa is a city in Italy famous in part for its salami. It's also the name of a middle school in Westerville, Ohio, where the Jaguars are on the prowl in Mrs. Minnie's class. Hello to Genoa Middle School. In the mountain state of West Virginia, we see Mr. Thomas's classes online in the city of Winfield, and we salute the generals of Winfield Middle School. Finally, we're stopping at Baraboo, a city in the Badger State of Wisconsin. It's where the Thunderbirds fly in Mr. Fichter's or Fichter's class at Baraboo High School. Last week we told you about a Cheeto in the shape of a Pokemon that was auctioned off for almost $88,000. Well, the collectibles company that sold it is hoping to strike gold once again with this. Another Cheeto that's said to resemble basketball icon Michael Jordan about to dunk. It also comes with a card that has some stats on it. And while it might not resemble the Jumpman image of the former NBA player as much as Cheetozard resembled Charizard, you know some enriched cheeseheads Chicagoing to be bullish on dunking snacks of cash on an artificially inflavored cornmeal that's nigh sinfully expensive so he can only show but not serve something that cost a lot of cheddar to glue to make his friend's jelly and milk it for all it's worth. Some will say he was Cheetoed out of too much money. I'm Carl Azus, staying cheesy on the world from A to ZZ, and it'd mean the world to see you again tomorrow.